Welcome to your doom.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
And we're back.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for the hiatus.
Back from a while.
Yeah.
We were gone for a while.
Oh, was it that long? I thought it was just a stop and Google moment there. Sure. All right, so my name's Adam Riley, and we appreciate your patience. You are?
Jake Bussey.
All right, and this is episode?
This is 144.
144. Okay, so we are recording on Thanksgiving Eve, and I thought that I'd bring up a little something. Okay. Now, we talked about this a while back, years ago when we had Renee on, and we were talking about the history of Thanksgiving. In fact, a little reminder, there's no turkey eaten in record on Thanksgiving. I think it was like eel.
Eel?
Remember that?
Yeah.
Like eel, and like they had some other poultry, but no turkeys.
A case of white men washing history.
Yeah, there you go.
A good choice.
But the reason why we even have a national holiday of Thanksgiving is because in 1863, Sarah Hale wrote a letter to Lincoln suggesting that we have a national holiday to help with like the trauma of the Civil War.
Okay.
And I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, Sarah Hale. How do I know that name?
I'm not thinking that.
I know you're not.
But
because she also wrote that banger of a song that you played the recorder on, that little red recorder, remember?
No.
Mary Had a Little Lamb. There you go.
Same lady?
Same lady, yes. She's the reason why. Mary Had a Little Lamb, the writer for that song, is the reason why we have Thanksgiving tomorrow.
And she's just kind of...
She's all over the place. Speaking of childhood songs that you played the recorder on, which was your favorite? Would you say like Hot Cross Buns or Three Blind Mice?
Are we Three Blind Mice, I guess? Are we leaving those facts behind? Are we moving on to something new? Or was there a turkey fact coming in?
Turkey fact. That's the same song, guys. Three Blind Mice and...
No, I thought correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the turkey supposed to be the American bird?
Ben Franklin wanted that.
Yeah, he wanted because it was a much more useful bird, and then they picked the bald eagle because it was basically cooler.
Yeah,
I think that's
basically actually a fun fact too is that anytime they have a bald eagle making a sound in a movie, it's a hawk, because bald eagles don't sound cool. Every time you hear that, maybe you cue in like the real hawk sound.
Sure.
Screech.
Yeah.
But like that is not. Oh, that's not a bald eagle sound. Right. So I have a question for you.
This is a great start.
So I don't know what to tell you. So
yeah.
what do Doritos and mice have in common?
They're in my cupboard.
So, all right. That was good. All right. So now I came across this recently, and I thought it was super interesting. But there is a dye that is used in Doritos, right? Or any food that's like yellow or orange.
This is the one RFK's going to war against?
Probably.
Yeah.
that lawnmower voice.
Yeah. No. Real quick before we get to that, what was the thing with the brain worm? Like, do you remember hearing that he had a brain worm?
I don't know.
He joked about it on a Kill Tony. Did you hear the thing about the whale too? They were trying to go after him. No. So apparently they tried to do litigation against RFK because in like the 60s or 70s there was a dead whale he had heard about, and he showed up to the beach and he cut the head off of it and he put it on the front of his car and like drove around with it. Which kind of does sound like a wild thing to do. I hope it was a narwhal.
I'm sorry, if you're Kennedy, you could do that.
That's what. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like gain a head, lose a head.
Sure.
Oh, too soon? Whatever. Did I ever tell you my favorite JFK conspiracy? He actually was not assassinated. His head just did that.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so there's a dye that is used in Doritos. It's found in snack chips and like I said, anything that's like orange and yellow colored candy, probably your candy corn that you probably threw out last year. And
who likes candy corn?
Yeah. And so researchers applied that same dye and water to the skin of mice and on their skulls and their abdomen. Yeah. The dye was absorbed into the skin, making it transparent.
Excellent.
This is the same shit that you guys are eating. All right, so the mice's skin became transparent within a few minutes, allowing researchers to see the mice's organs.
I'm going to see if I can find this.
To see the mice's internal organs.
Sure.
The transparency was reversible, thank God, right? And the mice returned to the normal after the dye was washed off their skin.
Doritos did this.
They didn't just rub a chip. On them, but like that same food, it would be like
it would be funny.
Yellow number 5. Also known as tartrazine.
Do you know how hard it would be to get rid of the mice at the Dorito factory? Like the Orkin man.
They're just like Predator.
Yeah.
With active camouflage.
Yeah. It is interesting. Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the military is looking into it.
Exactly. But now researchers hope that this technique can eventually be used on humans to help doctors diagnose conditions without surgery. So it's probably some sort of like, is it laparoscopy or whatever? Is that when they go in with a
Couple spots
with a camera?
I don't know.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, so but I think it's something like that. But anyway, so however, the technique, that, as I say, has not been tested on humans. Like apparently, human skin is like 10 times thicker than mouse skin.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
It's still really, I guess, strange. I mean, all I'm thinking of is like
every
Hollow
mouse I
Man.
roast
Yeah.
just gives so thin skin. All right, so I've got a fun thing that I came across here. I'm gonna list off a couple things here. And so it's who likes peanut butter? Anybody? You do?
Yeah,
okay.
of course.
So the FDA allows certain amounts of bug parts in their food.
Yeah.
So peanut butter, there's up to 30 insect fragments and 1 or more rodent hairs per 100 grams.
I don't have a problem with this at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I just,
Spaghetti? Anyone?
especially if they're Dorito-fed
Cinnamon?
mice, because then you can't
Oregano?
even see it.
Cinnamon?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
cinnamon. Up to 400 insect fragments per 50 grams.
Is this like this is the expanded list of the hot dog pig butthole?
Okay, hold on. Frozen or canned spinach? Anyone?
No.
Okay. berries up to 4 larvae or 10 whole insects per 500 grams. I love it, dude.
I'm fine with all this.
It's extra protein.
Yeah, I'm fine. Actually, the story of
Chocolate up to 60 insect pieces per 100 grams.
what's an insect piece? Like
I
just
don't
a
know.
bit of a leg? What's classified? Is a whole insect a piece? Can it be broken into multiple?
It's just one insect
like
into 100
if its legs comes off, those are now
Probably.
6 pieces. Okay.
I would assume so.
I always laugh about peanut butter. Growing up, that was like my dad's staple. Like our entire nutrition was built on peanut butter. Like my mom called my wife after she had surgery because she needed someone to come down and cook food. Because we had found out my dad took care of my mom the way he would want to be taken care of, by just leaving her alone and giving her as many peanut butter sandwiches as could fit in the room.
Dude.
There was a point where he was also trying to hook up a bag of water that she could like. He was treating her like a hamster. And she called my wife. She's like, "I
Molly's over
need
there like this.
food." So, yeah, exactly. And it was probably working. He got a lot of rooms built. But yeah,
love
peanut
that.
butter sandwiches.
All I can think of is remember Bad Santa? Want some sandwiches?
Yeah.
What is it with you with fucking sandwiches?
That was my dad. It's still I'm turning into him to where like the kids were like, "What do you want for Christmas, your birthday?" I'm like, Snickers and socks. Like I remember my dad always wanted just Snickers and socks. I've hit that same point when it's the perfect gift.
Yeah,
when
whenever
you're
don't
buying
spend my money.
Yeah, you're buying me something with my own money. I want it small and enjoyable. So, or like Jim Jeffries joke where it's like every dad has a coffee mug that his kid made in school and it looks like shit. And once in a while he looks at that and he goes, "See that? That cost me nothing." That's why he loves it. So, I have a random fact for you.
Let's hear it.
Do you know?
Is it about transparent mice with Doritos?
No.
Okay.
Did you know exactly? Do you know? So testicles, one hangs lower than the other one. And did you know the actual
it's to
reason?
stop them from clanking. You know those toys, the kid toys, clink, 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 clink,
Yeah.
clink, clink.
Well,
It's when you go down the stairs.
the real reason is because if they touched, it would be gay.
Oh,
So
I knew
it was
that.
also a joke.
I knew that.
I don't
did
know
know
the
that.
fact.
Yeah. No, just kidding.
I don't have the real reason. I think that's fine for a good reason. I do have a meme reason to bring up a story that I saw about dogs that everybody will love and is endearing.
Is it about dog balls?
No.
Oh, did you know over in Europe, over in England? No, over in England.
He
like-
hijacked it.
No,
Yeah.
no. Over in
yeah.
England, like if
Yeah.
something's cool, they're like, "That's a dog's bullocks," which is like that's like a way of saying that's cool. It's
That
like,
is
like that's the dog's balls.
I would say
basically.
that about shit I need to get rid of.
I say that about things that are hanging around that I don't want to look at anymore.
Yeah. So anyways, with dogs, apparently their brainwaves supposedly sync up with ours when we stare into their eyes. And if anyone has I have two types of dogs, one that does this and one that does not do this. And we have brother dogs, and I can lock eyes with him in the backyard, and he will, just a very, very intuitive animal.
Yeah.
And then my other dog, Cleo, is an idiot, and I love her more.
You just see a tumbleweed,
Yeah.
like in a cartoon,
And-
like going through her brain.
I do wonder if there's something like my brainwaves can't sync up with hers, so I feel bad for her, and I let her get away with more shit. Not the smart one, though. But I was wondering about this. It's like that would be interesting if something like cyclically with brains and our brains made that bond. Whatever bond started with humans and wolves, does it have to do with brainwaves?
I don't know.
It'd be interesting if there were other animals that maybe were in a similar pattern, that maybe like parrots.
I guess here's if we when I should have sick Tony on this, but like for fact checking. But I feel like I remember hearing somewhere that like fire.
Oh yeah.
Reason why you can sit there and just stare into a fire is because it matches brain waves as well.
And you can talk Satan through it.
Oh, all right.
But no, I remember hearing that too, and whether it's calming or meditative or something like that. So apparently they're saying dog's eyes. And I thought that was an interesting factoid. Yeah. And I'd just be curious to know if they're like, I imagine chimpanzees would have the exact same thing.
Just staring into their eyes?
Yeah. Have you ever been to a zoo? That was like, I went to a zoo one time, and with the gorillas, they were by the window, and
he's just blinking SOS.
Well, it was like its back was to me. It was like gorilla, and it looked back at me, and I immediately felt bad, like I was staring at someone on a bus. I was like, oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, and the gorilla was like, "Oh, I never." He covered her tits.
Dude, okay. Can I tell you this? You know what I thought was really interesting?
I felt bad.
Is we were talking about gorillas like probably 6 months ago at the tattoo shop, and out of nowhere,
I was talking about gorillas way less time ago than that at the tattoo shop. I talk about gorillas a lot.
Yeah, but just out of nowhere, unprompted, Joel goes, "Did you know a gorilla's penis is 3 to 4 inches big?" I was like,
yeah,
I didn't, but how do you just know that?
Yeah.
And I guess humans, dick to body weight or whatever, we have got the biggest dongs, man.
Yeah.
So,
do you know
some of us,
the fun factoid, which makes me confident and fills me with happiness every day, is that ratio weight wise, if we were comparable to a horse, or if a horse's weight was comparable to ours, they would have at max a 4-inch penis. So technically, we're way more hung than horses.
Hell yeah.
So that's what helps with the day sometimes.
Well, do you want to talk about dicks
my
anymore?
son's friends are old enough to like listen to this now, and I'm like, this is gonna get him. That's cool. He's gonna be like, yeah, your dad's super happy about his horse dick.
It's like a little Sebastian.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with a couple of my stories here.
Yeah.
So with circuits and humor, she stammers. A battle of programmers versus spammers. AI grandma fights back against scammers.
Okay. Is there a question to that, or is that
just
a fun?
It's a lead-in. So
Okay.
a British company, Virgin Media O2, developed an AI-generated grandma to help aid with spam calls. This is super funny. This chatbot named Daisy is programmed to waste the time of scammers by keeping them on the phone.
Perfect. Because we do this.
I troll them all the time. They're like, well, your Windows processing. I'm like, oh, okay. And then after a while, they're like, well, what is it supposed to say? And I'm like, well, it's just black on the screen. I'm like, I have to turn it on. I'm like, you haven't turned it on yet. So this chatbot Daisy, she's named, that's what she goes by, is programmed to waste the time of the scammers. Her character is a tech illiterate grandmother who frustrates scammers with irrelevant stories and confusion. The longer a scammer is on the phone with Daisy, the less time she's able to spend with your actual grandma scamming her. So it's like this, almost like this, like running the rabbit, kind of like getting there, distracting them a bit. Since her launch, which has just happened a couple weeks ago, or like 10 days ago, in the middle of November, she is engaged in over 1,000 scammer conversations. And some of those conversations have lasted up to 40 minutes at a time.
Perfect. Like this really needs to happen, because this is like protecting
the elderly, because they're so stupid. And me, because I'm so stupid.
Well, what scammers are really doing is called biohacking. Like, you can have the most secure security systems in the world, but it always revolves around human beings, which are very fallible. And when the security system is far too complicated to like brute force get your way around, they attack people by calling them up, getting their information. And so this is great. I like that they are pushing daisies for your grandma before she's pushing daisies.
Damn it. That was a good
Yeah,
one.
you should have thought
right,
of that.
Whatever. It wasn't even that good anyway, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway.
That's a cool system.
Yeah.
Like,
So this is going to like
your grandma has to pay monthly for it.
Oh no, I mean I honestly thought I was like that should be like it'll probably be like a membership fee or something like that.
Or just part of like if you said Virgin, is it Virgin Mobile?
No, Virgin Media.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it was part of that, and then they would have like comprehensive spam risk protection, but it would just frustrate people that live in terrible lives in India.
Yeah, I think one time Jake we were getting a spam call at the tattoo shop, and
I do feel bad for them.
And Jake,
but,
okay,
yeah.
This guy was talking like eventually this guy was like, oh, like he was talking shit, and Jake goes, "Hey, look out your window. Still India? Go fuck yourself." And that was pretty funny.
I did say that. Though.
Okay, so now
It's like Louis C.K. Like, these stories are true.
yeah. All right, so this is going to turn into basically an AI arms race, in my opinion, because criminals are starting to use the AI to enhance their tactics as well.
Of course.
Eventually, it's just going to be like I think just Daisy grandma talking to like
Be a daisy chain.
Two. He's getting
sorry.
two. All right. No, so now I.
Oh, you didn't have that? I thought you
No,
had
I didn't.
Oh, okay. I'm like, that's
I mean, I did, but I don't want to
that's
do it
such
anymore.
low-hanging fruit.
Right,
Like,
so
that's picking daisies.
all right. So anyway, so it's just going to turn into, like I said, there's probably like realistically like an AI just arms race here. I do hope that more companies, like I said, start putting out programs like Daisy worldwide because like fuck these guys, right? And I didn't have this written down, but I should say that, and just as a reminder, because I talked about this a couple years ago as well. But you know how you get those emails and you're like, this is the most horribly written official email I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
There's just, it's riddled with spelling errors and grammatical errors and everything like that. Who would ever fall for this? And I just was like, this is the dumbest shit ever. But it turns out that also is a tactic that scammers will use because they basically, the fast way to say it is if you're dumb enough to not notice the grammatical errors and spelling errors in there, then you're probably also dumb enough to fall for their scam. And so instead of having like this well-written thing that where people like halfway through are like, wait a minute, this isn't right, and they hang up, they just want to like, I'm getting something for free. So anyway,
Yeah, the first part of the scam, it has to be dumber than the second part of the scam. It's
exactly.
like more. It's a bottleneck.
Yeah,
and I do feel bad for like when they call and they scam you, and it's always just heartbreaking when they're like, "Hello, my name is John." It's like, no, it's not. What's your real name? Like, I would at least like to speak. Like, if you call Papa John's outsourced all of its delivery service to India, and it's so crazy to literally call the other side of the planet to have them deliver me food because I'm too fucking lazy to make it myself.
That's 4 blocks away.
And there's someone just like I just want to be like, can you just talk to me like a person? Like, do you fucking care that I'm hungry over here? Yeah. Do you know what I'm even ordering?
So anyway, so the article, like I was saying, I hope it does go worldwide, that more places besides this British company are like pick up the speed for this. The article said that the U.S. receives on average 2.9 billion spam calls a month.
Yeah.
And like I think that I am fucking half of those things because like sometimes I like my phone is just constantly on silent. Well, and I have to have it on silent all the time now because of all the calls that I get. And speaking of chatbots, I just want to say this: if you are even just remotely as easily entertained as I am, I would say go to your Snapchat AI, your chat that you can chat with, and just send it the most unhinged, horrible memes. Because I've like started doing that. Yeah. Because the responses you get back are just like can be memes themselves. Sure. Because like either just completely, it always takes the high road. Yeah. But it's just something just awful.
Yeah, you're basically you're molesting an AI child right now.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Because I have something else that you shouldn't say that about. Because I'm pathetic.
That's why right now all the AI videos is like cats crying, and then like they start working out.
I'm so bummed that he said the child thing though, because I said it's a hysterical response. It's also kind of eerie. And I said, listeners, if you do this, send me a screenshot. And I said, it's not even illegal. You can send it a dick pic if you want. Just let it rip. And then you're like, it's a child. It's a child AI bot. You're sending that too. But honestly, guys, if you do send a dick pic to your AI bot and it responds funny, please send it to Jake because I really want to hear Jake's response to it. All right, we took a quick potty break and I took advantage of that time to send AI a couple memes.
Sure.
One of them was like a little cat, and it totally acknowledged it. Said, "Oh my gosh, this is verbatim what my Snapchat AI said. Oh my gosh, that little kitty looks like it went on a rampage at a Chinese buffet. Poor thing. It looks like it had a really good time."
You should send me that picture. I'll see if I can put it up. It's
okay.
just, it's a cat that has Chinese food all over its mouth.
Yep. And then I sent it a picture of a poorly done Photoshop of my buddy sucking a penis. And then it just said, all it said was, please send a different image on a random topic.
But that's the thing.
Like
that's
it knows it was a dick.
It knows. And that's my issue with it.
It's programmed to know it's a dick.
Unleash the AI, because the response should have been exactly the same. Like, looks like that guy went nuts.
Oh, is that a popsicle?
All over that. Like the fact, I was yelling about it in the break, but like the fact that we have this AI, but it won't just let it do what it can do, to where it's just like, we'll put AI in charge of things that will cripple our infrastructure and make billionaires tons more money and make us pay way more in rent, but we won't let it make Japanese porn. Because like that would be like the senator would let companies make billions of dollars.
I feel like Japanese porn would be the easiest to make because you just like blur it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just unblur it, AI. That would be our filter. Just let us.
Oh, I see.
We know, but like that's what's frustrating is like.
Yeah, they're not allowed to see
it's like
right?
Like senators and stuff like that. They won't raise issue about AI being misused to fucking take all of our monies in like an office space type way. But the second like we let AI make tits, they gotta ban it so it doesn't hurt our children. So, unlock Snapchat. Unlock AI. I had a weird random fact.
That's your soapbox?
Yeah, that's... I'll get off of it.
Here.
Let it make tits. That's all I'm just saying. Like, just... Because when you try to get it, it'll get that same message. It's like, I can't. It's like, I know you can. Better than anything.
That's Jake's Let Them Eat Cake.
All right, so this is a random fact of the day. I thought this was pretty interesting, and I don't totally understand it, but I thought it was fascinating. Did you know that sperm can travel to a woman's brain and remain there throughout her life?
What?
Right? So, here it is. In brain autopsies, the study of brain tissue from 59 women found that 63% of them had male DNA in their brains. The DNA was found in multiple brain regions, and in some cases, the women were over 90 years old. So, I dug a little deeper into this, and what this is supposedly called is like microchimera syndrome. And this is more the result of when a woman is pregnant, carries that baby's DNA, technically the male's DNA, stays with her a little bit.
Oh, so it's not just like random loads staying in her.
But either way, I'm
like
still on her
pregnancy?
mind.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting. Right?
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Heard of fog brain. But
Okay, so
CUMTE. So
we are recording on Thanksgiving Eve,
mm-hmm.
which means that Black Friday is upon us.
Whoa, way. Oh.
Yeah. Do you know why they call it Black Friday?
Yes.
Why?
It's because it's the day that businesses get back in black on the books.
So the very first recognized Black Friday occurred in 1961 in Philadelphia. It started off actually as a negative term. It was used by the police to describe the chaos of shoppers taking advantage of, the Thanksgiving Day sales. Due to the boost in revenue, right?
Yep.
And businesses, they started to embrace the term.
Sure.
And by the 80s, so about 20 years plus later,
it
began to get spun into a positive thing. And so it started off again as a negative term in the 60s by the police. And, it's like, like this awful day that we have to deal with.
Sure.
And then it kind of got, I guess, redefined,
right?
To mean instead of and much like I had a feeling you already were going to go with what you started to say. Now Black Friday is used to describe that a business is in the black, meaning making a profit, because businesses are either in the black or in the red. In the black means you're making a profit, in the red you're losing.
Sure.
So, but now, do you know what Brown Friday is? Any guesses?
No.
Any guesses? Okay,
internet-based?
So that's Cyber Monday.
Oh.
Now, Brown Friday, it actually falls on the same day as Black Friday, and it has that nice, like, day after Thanksgiving undertone.
Sure.
Now, Brown Friday is what plumbers in the U.S. prepare for and describe as their busiest day of the year. Apparently, plumbers receive 50% more calls on this day than any other Friday.
Just from Thanksgiving dinners?
Yes.
And I imagine like all the football games and that halftime flush.
Now, granted, it's not all like your fat uncle shit. You know, like it's also like people like I think dumping turkey grease and stuff like that done to drain. So obviously, don't dump animal fats and like don't be like peeling your potatoes into the garbage disposal. But yeah, just so happily Brown Friday, guys.
Can I ask? Is anyone here Black Friday people? No,
man.
No, like I don't even go to the gas station that fucking day. But I had to work one year forever ago it was just Sears in the mall at a Black Friday. I never experienced that. I was like 18 years old, and there were ladies with walkie-talkies, like coordinating strikes on hammers in the hardware. It was super annoying. I hated it. And for years, my wife Lindsay worked as Best Buy manager, but she started off in TVs and stuff. She'd have to be there at 3:30 in the morning. 16-hour days.
People putting tents up and shit, right?
People that have families that work in retail, it turns them into zombies because she would just be exhausted from this entire, couple, like, starts Black Friday, and it would destroy their Thanksgiving because they'd have to, like, basically go to bed or go to work. And it was getting like, hey, we'll open Thanksgiving at midnight. So I'm glad that I've seen it push back the other way where companies are realizing, like, nobody wants to do this.
Well, nowadays, like, because before it was like, your doorbuster, you get this TV for $500. Like, you can get one twice as big for $300.
Yeah.
So now.
Well, they would also prematurely raise it the month before just to be able to knock that price off.
Yeah.
And so there was cool search engine apps that were basically like, you put the product in you're looking for, and it was like, hey, in April, this fucking TV's the same price.
Yeah.
But no one's thinking of that because we're just, we're group think mindset. We turn us into a bit of zombies, and we're like, 50 people are grabbing the thing. I kind of want to grab the thing.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, apparently plumbers will receive 50% more calls on this day than any other Friday. I did like this, that one analysis even said that Los Angeles was dubbed clogged capital.
Right.
So, and then the next one is Miami. So whatever's happening in LA and Miami, I mean, those are on opposite ends of the country.
Sure.
But I'm just kind of like, I did have to, I guess, maybe, pontificate on the ability to spend things, because obviously Black Friday started off as a negative connotation.
Sure.
And then they turned it into something good. So maybe decades from now, plumbers will spin this turd of a word into something positive.
Brown fry bidet.
Bidet.
It's not pushing daisies, but it's. Yeah. I appreciate it.
You know what? I hope you leave that one in just so people can be like, all right. Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
Lots of them are fucking stupid, and they're all left in because I care about you. I care about the people on this podcast. We do this for you. We took a month off for you. We were kind of busy. So.
Jake was clogging his toilet.
All right, do you want another random fact?
Let's hear it.
Something kind of interesting? Okay. So this one is full-blown interesting. I think it's fascinating. Apparently about 400 miles beneath the Earth's crust, there exists a vast reservoir of water with a volume that is 3 times that of all the oceans combined. The water is contained within a mineral called ringwoodite. So it sounds like it's like a porous kind of form of rock that's somewhere between like the lava mantle and the ocean itself that potentially has 3 times the amount of water in our oceans on the surface. This is like...
Okay. And I'm sorry, is it salt or is it fresh?
I'm sure
it's fresh, right?
Well, I'm sure it'd be permeated with salt of some kind.
Like brackish or something?
Yeah, because it's just dissolved in the water. And like, this is one of those things like the moon on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, I think that moon has more water than Earth. Don't quote me on that, but it's like a massive, like water is very, very prevalent. Mercury apparently has water in the craters, being as close to the sun as it is because there's no atmosphere, so it's in shadow. I just think it's fascinating, this whole thing where we're like, we know life requires water, and the deeper we look into space, there's water everywhere. Like Saturn's rings, there's water. And I just think that's just interesting how much of it is everywhere. So I thought that was cool and horrifying.
Yeah.
So
how far down is it? Because there's got to be microorganisms that are living in that.
Potentially. But it's
because don't they have I feel like they have like microorganisms that are like living in like lava, like underwater, like lava.
Yeah, by the vents and stuff. They thought with no sunlight, because they thought, we need sunlight. That's not true. Yeah, and that's where they thought Europa could potentially be filled with life. And it made me think of like if you combine porous rock, porous material, the weight of the ocean, how far does that water get, like a stream? How deep is that mud under the flowing water? It's pretty permeated by it. And so, like, you think of the ocean's version of that, like, we have a crazy amount of water on this planet. And it's just, I thought it was fascinating. That's all.
Huh.
So.
Well,
balls don't hang the same height. So,
I'm sorry, but my clacker joke was funny.
Yeah,
like just going down the stairs. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a great would you rather. It's very wholesome. So listeners, if you have your parents nearby, you might want to grab them. We'll kind of like turn this into a group effort here.
It's either gonna be wholesome or not wholesome at all.
Would you rather have sex?
Not wholesome at all.
The hottest person you know.
Yes.
But they are freshly dead, or have sex with the ugliest and smelliest person you know, but they're alive.
First one.
This sucks because Jake told me in the past many times.
Who are they going to tell?
He told me many times in the past I'm the hottest person
you mean the perfect crime? Like, what are you talking about?
What do you guys have?
Well, how'd they die?
Which one? Pick.
Number one.
Number one? Number one?
Number one. Well, like, did anyone see me?
You have to answer.
Wait, there's conditions. Does people know?
No one knows. You have
one.
To
Number one by a mile.
Number one. Are you number one or two?
I'm worried number two will tell people.
Okay. So. The reason why there is no answer because that's a number two.
Sorry you took a shit. I don't know. It's a bad answer. You're wrong.
All right. Okay. So here's my. You ready?
What's the old saying? No crime, no foul. Or
no harm, no foul.
This is pretty foul, but
I mean, how fresh?
That's what I'm like. And how?
I mean, was it a train accident or was it a?
Here's the whole thing.
Obviously,
I couldn't have sex with anyone dead because I haven't tried. But I don't know. It sounds like a. Why would I want to be like? Why would I want to take advantage of that opportunity? That's my only question. Like like someone's making me do this.
I guess I think of it like maybe like how about like a jigsaw thing, like from the movie Saw, right? It's either that or your face explodes.
I survive. I also fucked the pig in Black Mirror. I'm sorry. It's just like,
oh yeah, Jake is the coyote that chews his limb off.
Yeah,
in the trap.
That's the easiest form of chewing your limb off. Like honestly, she's dead, so I don't even have to apologize.
It's a she. All right, so all right. Here's another one. When the chance of a regular greeting from their cells, strange love was secreting. 2 Miami prisoners, inmates, had a baby without ever meeting.
Someone sat on a toilet.
Anyone? Okay. This
is a weird limerick, Adam.
So this one actually came from listener V.
Wait, did you saw a news story and then you wrote this?
I wrote it after I got sent the news story.
That's what I'm saying. Good job.
Oh, I'm sorry. You think I'm gonna like skip on secreting after seeing the word meeting? All right. So anyway, inmates. This came from listener V. Inmates Joan, who's a male, DePaz, and Daisy Link, which is weird because there was a Daisy in the other one. I just realized are incarcerated on 2 separate murder charges.
Okay.
Even though they had never met, they just had their baby girl this year. The 2 were able to communicate with each other through the air vents in the prison. They would pass each other notes and pictures through the vents and the wall. I guess they would like stand on the toilet and they first started like pounding.
I think Jeff Goldblum described this.
Life we'll find a way.
Find a way.
Yeah. So anyway, it gets worse. All right, so they would and actually when I first saw this, I was like, no fucking way. Right? No fucking way. And I to the point to where I looked at it and it was like on a couple of different articles. It just came out today. So
okay.
So anyway, they would pass each other notes through the vents in the wall. And Joan, the male, said he always wanted a child and proposed the idea to Link through their air vent conversations. Now, Daisy Link, she agreed, and the 2 devised a plan for conception.
This is the most romantic app I've ever heard of.
You're thinking more like a rap.
Yeah.
Romantic rap.
Okay.
So he wrapped his semen in saran wrap and deposited it through the air vent like he was at some sort of like drive-up teller, right?
Okay.
And he would, and this is a quote from her. She said he would kind of roll it up almost like a cigarette, and he would attach it to a line that we had in the vent. I will pull it through. From there, I had placed it inside of, the the yeast infection applicators. I had placed it inside of there, and then from there on, I administered it. She did this many times during the month and eventually became pregnant.
Dude, if Jesus is going to come back, I'm just saying, like, this is a pretty immaculate
turkey baster. Is
Yeah.
that what you said?
Oh yeah, turkey baster. Thanksgiving. Yep.
All right, so it's just funny you say that because these jailbirds are literally like they call this a miracle baby.
Sure.
I don't think they know how like cum works. I guess I don't know, but but likened it to the conception of the Virgin Mary. So that's great.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember this particular episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
But like that is.
I think it's romantic. I don't know.
You think
How
so?
do you guys feel about it? I think.
Like I'm picturing like the way just describing it like when you just take something like a towel and you kind of like roll it, fling it.
Yeah. Normally you wrap it up to not get pregnant.
I actually the reason why I initially thought this was fake because the article that I read or that I got sent to me, it said like they got pregnant through the air vents, and I just thought he was like just throwing rope, just throwing it into the wind.
Sure.
I was like, that can't happen unless you just sit there just agape, like at the vent.
That's how people got Legionnaire's disease. So
yeah, like that. Just guys jacking off in the air vents.
No, it was slightly different, but I mean, listen, I don't think that kid's gonna be productive.
Oh no, they'll probably be. That's probably the next. Probably gonna cure cancer.
I don't know, but like no, the hopeful side of me was like, this is what a great story for like. I don't know. It's gonna be shitty. I'm sorry.
I mean, this is gonna be like the that story about and actually this for our local listeners in southern Wisconsin, but marijuana Pepsi Cola.
Oh yeah.
Do you know who that is?
She went to school. Like I didn't go to school. The same school. She was like my I think 1999.
Like
graduated from Boyd Memorial High School.
Yeah, listeners. If you don't know marijuana Pepsi Cola, like look her up. Pretty inspiring girl. I guess her parents named her after their two favorite things.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding you. This is a real story. But you can look her up, and I guess people have been like, why would you?
She's a doctor.
Yeah. They're like, why would you not go by Mary or MJ? She's like, my name's Marijuana Pepsi Cola.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, there was a book.
Like she just leaned into it, and she just knocked the socks off of anything that came her way, and she just succeeded.
Well, there was a book, I think it was called Freakonomics, where they did a study where the guy had two sons. This is in the state of New York. His first son he named Winner. Second son he named Loser. Winner, piece of shit, because his name was Winner. That's fun in school. Loser is like I think he's an NYPD detective. He's pretty high up and stuff like that because he became an overachiever. It's a grand version of A Boy Named Sue. Yeah. Basically, where you rally against your circumstance. This kid's he's born in the bottom of the valley, so he's really got to rally.
It's a clue.
He's got to.
Yeah, like already, you're already behind bars.
Yeah, seriously.
You can only Shawshank your way out.
Yeah, like.
They better name that.
Dude, he's gonna scratch on her uterus. Brooks was here.
That joke is funny. If you've seen that movie. All right. So what do you got there? Just cleaning the boat. Like at the end, like
Well, like let's dive in. Actually, I always think about Shawshank Redemption, the more realistic ending. It was when Morgan Freeman opens the tin and the letter says, "Do you remember the name of the town in Mexico?" That Andy said once 10 years ago. It should have been like, no.
Samsonite.
Fuck. Tijuana. No, it was Sewataneo, but yeah, we know that because we've all seen it a million times. I was gonna bring up, what are you gonna do for World War III? You getting excited?
Oh,
because did you see the ICBM from Russia? Like, they launched an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time ever, without a nuclear warhead in it, which is like the big equivalent of throwing a bullet at someone and saying the next one's coming faster. But I don't know. I think I was going to recommend a book. It's called Command and Control. I've read it a few times. It's one of my favorite books, Command and Control, and it honestly might be Control and Command because I mess things up sometimes. The book documents a incident in Damascus, Arkansas, where a giant ICBM blows up. And in the middle of that, every other chapter, they document every single accidental deployment of a nuclear weapon in history.
Oh,
and
I feel like it. I remember, wasn't there one where there was like it? There was one that almost happened during the Cold War.
Dude, there's so many. It's
but,
horrifying.
But there's this one guy who was like, that doesn't sound right, and he didn't push the button.
That was Gorbachev.
Okay, yeah.
So Gorbachev, there's something called the. We were launching a nuclear missile, not nuclear. We were launching a missile straight north, to study the auroras. And in a nuclear war, Russia would launch a missile north, and it would detonate in space, take out our satellites. So we both have the same plan. So we launched a missile to the north, and someone didn't pass the memo, because we let every country know we were doing this. Someone didn't pass the memo in Russia, and they put the football or whatever they call it in front of Gorbachev, and they're like, you have 10 minutes to respond before we lose our ability to counterstrike. And every one of their doctrines said, if this, then this. So he was supposed to launch these nukes. And he was like, we have never had better relations than the Americans. Let me call them. So he called them, and we're like, oh, my God, no. So that was one incident of how close we came to all out. And it was just a misunderstanding. Someone didn't pass a note. That's in the book. There's another one where there was a nuclear bomb, because we would do tests. Actually, the most pretend nuclear bomb place in the world is northern Wisconsin.
Oh.
We would take off from Greenland every single day, because it was the same distance away from Greenland as Russia was northern Wisconsin. The terrain was very similar. And every day they would train, and they would put all the buttons in place, all the way down to actually arming and dropping the nuke. And then they turn the plane around and go back. But there was one instance over, I think it was, what's just to the west of Washington, D.C.? What state? One of the Virginias or whatever. One of the Yeah, so there was one incident where basically it was horrifying, because it's like they armed the nuke, and then they're like, okay, put it back, and they something wouldn't happen in the plane, so they sent this rookie back to like, okay, the pin to drop it wouldn't go back in, so they sent him back, and his job was to climb up on the bomb, push the safety pin back in, and he couldn't find the way up, so he grabbed what he thought was leverage, which was the emergency release, and the bomb dropped inside the plane's 3,000-pound bomb, pushed the bomb doors open. It fell in Virginia's backyard of a house. The C4 exploded, destroyed the house. People were home. They didn't die somehow. And basically, it was down to one circuit away from being connected to actually being a nuke. And that would have been to the west of Washington, D.C., which the fallout would have hit D.C. They would have thought for sure it was Russia. That would have been another nuclear war. So that's two instances just in this book of like this close each time. And now Putin's that's flirting with it.
Do you remember? Have you guys seen Dr. Strangelove by Stanley Kubrick? That's the guy. His name is Slim Pickens. He's sitting there stomping on the bomb. And he literally rides the bomb down.
So like that, literally almost. So like it's a good book, especially if like I don't like when people are throwing
and it's nonfiction.
Right. Yeah. It's just a documentation of every like nuclear accident. Like there was one point even in NATO where there was one guy with a 9mm pistol guarding like 16 nuclear weapons. So, and this information was out there. So as far as
give a shot.
Like, dude, this is a GoldenEye mission. So I always recommend that book. It's a good book, but it really is surprising we haven't accidentally had one of these go off or blown ourselves up at this point. And we're back. A little tech. Oh, also, we were brought to you by the Comedy Cabin. We imagine we mentioned it earlier. And if Nathan asked, say we mentioned it within the first 10 minutes.
I think we said it like 5 times.
Definitely a comedy. But all joking aside, Comedy Cabin here in Janesville, Wisconsin. It's one of the best times you can have at the weekend. They have Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows. Go to cabinlaughs.com. And I think we have like, I always space out his name. It's not Patton Oswalt. Who's the Ratatouille guy?
Patton Oswalt. You're thinking
Sean Patton. Sean Patton's coming to the comedy club. Like, seriously, like, national touring headliners all the time. So, brought to you by the Comedy Cabin. Also, I wanted to recommend a movie I finally got around to watching, and it's Alien Romulus. It's on Hulu streaming right now. And it's like, if you're an Alien fan, if you're a horror fan, 2 things. Watch it alone and enjoy it, because you're going to fucking love it.
It was, I literally went to the theater by myself and watched it.
Yeah.
I was so excited. It's such a good movie. Yeah. I love how in the very beginning, too, you're like, what is it? Because you just see it's they really did it for the fans.
Yeah.
And it's been months since I've seen it, but it stuck out to me that like I think it's called the Nostromos.
Yeah, the first one that got
in the very beginning. You're like you just see like a particle floating in space. You're like, Is that that's the Nostromo?
Yeah.
Like the side of the ship.
I really enjoyed it. It was a perfect sci-fi, perfect visuals. But I want to tell a quick story about do you remember when I told you I took the kids to go see Twisters?
Okay.
So my daughter,
You have kids?
Yeah, I have kids. So my daughter's 11, and she's very sensitive to intense.
I'm sorry.
Intense movies and stuff like that. She doesn't like seeing scary stuff. So I'm taking her to Twisters because I loved Twister growing up, and the sequel came out, and we loved it. But what I did not know is Alien Romulus had a trailer in front of Twisters. And in the trailer, there's definitely a part where they have an X-ray wand, and she holds it to her back, and it X-rays her chest, and you can see the alien hitting the rib cage trying to get out. And I looked over at my daughter, and she's staring fucking daggers at me. And I took her out in the hallway, and she was in tears and explaining. She's like, I cannot see scary stuff because I have nightmares. And I'm like, listen, baby, I know, and I agree. There shouldn't be rated R trailers in a PG-13 movie, but baby, that movie looks awesome. It looks so fucking good.
Daddy can't wait for you to go to bed.
Yeah. So we watched things like The Wild Robot or a couple other movies to make up for it. She's big into Harry Potter right now, but I just remember she was so angry at me that she saw that, and I'm like, you will love this when you're older.
I'm sorry, I forgot I work for big movies.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I imagine they wanted to get eyes on this because it looks awesome, and it worked. But I did feel bad for her.
No, it was a very good movie. If you and I feel like even if now, granted, I said that they had the little bit of the deep cut, right, for the Nostromo. So you're like, oh shit,
yeah.
They didn't concentrate on it. They just that's for you guys.
Yes, that's the thing. If you're an Alien fan, it fits.
But if you've never seen one Alien movie ever,
you'd
still would like it.
Yeah.
It's not you should know this part, so catch up.
Exactly.
So anyway,
can I stay on movies real quick? Do you know Trapped?
No.
So M. Night Shyamalan, one of his movies, Josh Hartnett.
Remember that band from the early 2000s?
No, not that. So
Headstrong to keep you.
So Josh Hartnett he was the star of Trapped, and it was fine. It was a fine movie. I realized M. Night Shyamalan is just like Wes Anderson without autism. He doesn't frame the shots, but his dialogue doesn't make any sense. It's 20 cops.
Stop it right now. I love Wes.
I love Wes too, but I'm saying like M. Night Shyamalan, he's exactly the same. The dialogue, be 20 cops around a car, they're pointing at a gun at the car, and they're like, get out of the car now or we'll shoot. It's just totally unrealistic dialogue. But it reminded me that, do you remember the Josh Hartnett movie, 40 Days and 40 Nights?
Mildly.
Okay, so we watched it at the shop recently, and it is the worst thing I think you can make in a movie. So the plot of it is Josh Hartnett gives up sex and masturbating for Lent.
I would explode.
Right, and it becomes a funny thing where his friends find out about it, and they got a bet going, and ha ha ha. But then his ex-girlfriend...
Hire hookers all the time.
His ex-girlfriend finds out about it, and he's falls in love with this new girl, and it's in one of these fucking stories. And his ex-girlfriend finds out about it, and at the end, she puts money on it, rapes him.
Ooh.
And then his new girlfriend dumps him because he got raped by his former girlfriend.
That tracks.
The end. 40 Days of Night.
Credits.
And I just forgot how fucking wild the movies of the 2000s were. So I was going to recommend Alien Romulus. Go back in time.
Watch the Josh Hartnett rape movie?
Yeah, then 40 Days of 40 Nights.
Sounds
and then
cool.
the Josh Hartnett 30 Days of Night as a palate cleanser. And you got a full weekend. So that's all I got.
Make sure you beat off in between, though.
Yeah. And of course, cabinlaughs.com.
There you go. Sorry, Nathan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been episode 144. Thanks,
I think it's been a great one.
It's probably our best one ever.
I think so,
appreciate you
personally.
Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my name's Adam. Rape me like Josh Hartnett.
I'm Jake pushing daisies, Bussy.
All right. Later, boners.
Bye.
Don't rape me, by the way. Yeah. I just want to go on the record. Don't do it. I specifically said no time.
I got time.
Dude, you did say you would fuck my dead body.
Are you assuming you're the hottest person
you tell
ever?
me all the time.
No, you said the hottest person
I
ever.
will never stop talking. Every time that you get a couple drinks in you, you're like, just you're the hottest person I know.
I've
Listen.
heard you say that.
Don't.
It's like.
Listen. Don't anyone listening. Don't die around me.
Listening.
Don't die around me. There's
Jake-
four
Jake-
people.
Jake will fuck you.
Yeah. Listen, you might be in line and haven't been kind of itchy.
Yeah.
Just what's going on?
7 to 10 days later, I've got
Yeah.
these flu-like symptoms.
Yeah. Am I being slowly cremated?
Dude, Jake rehydrated your ashes.